So, another season done. Let's recap it, shall we? Honestly, Knight, finishing 5th here was a bloody miracle for you. You were 15th after 8 events, including 2 goose eggs, but somehow you got 2 silvers and a bronze in the last 4 events, completely saving your season and making you look a lot less incompetent than you really were in the process. The funny thing is that so many people thought you were going to win this season. Good luck living up to those expectations next time. You're gonna need it. Hey, remember when Sky was second in the standings after 2 events? Yeah, me neither. You went from that to easily being the most boring marble in this competition. You got 1 bronze in the first event and were just mid for the rest of it. Please do something next time. Then I might actually be looking forward to talking about you, whether it be praise or beating you into the ground. I don't care which. There isn't much to say about you, Ruby. You failed to qualify for Season 5, and that's it. I have nothing else to go off of. Don't lose hope now. Other marbles that have failed to qualify have done, well, either mid or downright awful, actually. But I believe in you. Better luck next time, I guess. Don't let those back-to-back medals fool you. Caramel is not anything close to a top-tier competitor. You had some solid finishes, but 2/3 of the events you finished outside the top 8. The fates of other marbles who did the same were a lot worse than yours. You can't just win a couple medals and think, alright, I'm done here, no need to compete for the rest of the tournament. Even though you were in 3rd after Event 7, you slipped right back down into 10th once the season was over. All you are is a fraud. Bolton finishing at the bottom of the top half of the standings. Name a better duo. You're so incredibly average and boring. Half the time I forgot you were even competing. And yet somehow you finished in the top half the same amount of times as Pixie and Lapis? I don't understand. You make no sense, Bolt. You can't decide if you want to be good or trash and end up in the plain mediocre category. Do something next time, please. I'd like you to stand out for once. Hey, look everyone. Lollipop got a medal that wasn't gold. Only took him 6 medals to do it. Other than that, you won balancing, I guess? Good for you. There's nothing else to really say about you. You were pretty bad until the aforementioned gold, and then just mid, winding up just behind Bolt for 9th place. Not that bad, just not very exciting. You know, Hive, out of all the marbles that could have failed to qualify, you were not on my list. Sure, you've been slipping downwards ever since Season 2, but I thought you were better than this. You repaid me handsomely with 18 total points in the qualifiers. As a fan of the color yellow and bees, this saddens me. I know you can be better than this, Hive, but you need to prove it to the rest of the competition. Next season is a new one, so make sure you're there, or else you'll probably just fade into irrelevancy. You know, there are some marbles that I'm really excited to talk about. And then there's Palette. All you are is bad. Not even in a fun way, you're just bad. Oh, you won 1 bronze. Good for you, but all that does is make you the worst marble with a medal. Yippee. The fact that I almost have less to say about you than Ruby, who's failed to qualify and literally nothing else, is not a good sign. Go be a painter or something, because you sure as hell aren't going to make it as an athlete. With a 4th place overall and just barely shy of the podium, Lapis has cemented themselves as a top competitor in the KMC after their amazing breakout season. This was exactly the kind of thing I think they needed, proving that Season 4 was not a fluke and that they're here to stay as a KMC great. The only issue I had with you this season is that you were never really competing for the win. You never broke the top 3, always just out of reach. Even at the end with this was seen, having a slim chance of podiuming and just barely not getting it done. Still though, 4th place is better than 80% of other marbles, so you're auto-qualified. You just had to get my hopes up, didn't you? Looking at the first 8 events, it would be reasonable to think that there was finally a marble who DNQ'd in the past but could bounce back and compete with winners from earlier championships. But then, in the last 4 events, how many points did you get? 5! That's it! You slipped from 5th all the way down to 14th. What kind of performance is that? This was easily the biggest collapse of the tournament. And if it becomes the norm, don't expect any niceties from me, Turtle. I'll be as harsh on you as plastic is on actual turtles. Well, it wouldn't be the KMC without Black Rose kicking the shit out of 95% of the other marbles, would it? You only placed outside of the top 7 3 times, which is very impressive, although those finishes were 16th, 16th, and 13th. You really looked like you might go for 3 championships and had a very good shot at it too, but then Ocean came in and crushed your dreams in lap racing. Still, don't be too disappointed. You've cemented yourself as the most dominant marble in this league even after the expansion, with only a few able to stand up to you. Well done. Oh, and you're auto-qualified, but we all knew that before the season even started, didn't we? Tiger, mate, what the hell have you been doing? From season 1 to 5, you've gone from good to average to mid to trash to unwatchable. What happened to the Tiger from seasons prior? That Tiger was a threat, but the Tiger I see now is more like a chained-up house cat. 15th should not be the domain of an overall bronze winner. You know you don't belong down here, so get out of the basement while you still can. How did you finish 7th? Seriously, how? Because I've got no goddamn clue how you managed to become not complete trash this season. You've been the worst competitive marble for the past 4 seasons, and now you actually try a little? Where was this before? Sure, you didn't perform amazingly, but it's much better than your 1.5 points per event in season 4. It's only up from here, right? Just kidding. There's a long way down, Wisp, but hopefully being less terrible feels good for once. Hopefully good enough to make you want to stay there. Buddy. Pal. What in the marble gods have you been doing? You failed to qualify again for the 4th season in a row. This is complete and utter trash. You are irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. And I can hear people saying, oh, but they won challenge in the track. That counts for something, right? No! It doesn't. Who gives a shit about that tournament? Probably the same amount of people who care about you after you inevitably fail to qualify next season. 0. Good luck with that reround, because if it doesn't go well for you, you're going to end up as another Ruby. Like Wisp, you decided that this season would be the season to stop being utter trash and stop being, well, alright. You actually performed fairly competently at the tail end of the season, managing to wind up in 6th somehow, only a few points off the top 5. I wouldn't recommend getting comfortable here, though. I've seen you fall before, and I'm not going to be surprised if it happens again. Revert to your old ways, and I'll rip into you the same as any other marble. Usually there's only one fun counselor per marble tournament, but I put in a good bid for the KNC having 2 after Ocean's performance here. In the first 4 events, you got 2 golds and 1 silver. You were always challenging for the lead and made sure this season would not be like Season 2 or Season 4, keeping the distance between you and the championship within arm's reach at all times. Or roll's reach, I suppose. Then, when it seemed like Black Rose was going to run away with it after your disastrous qualifier for the last event, you brought it back and won gold to snatch the win. You deserve every second of this celebration, Ocean, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I'll see you in Season 6 as you're auto-qualified. Well, that was absolutely horrific. You were in last place after 4 events, and then for some reason decided to get comfy there. This was atrocious, Snowball. You had only 3 finishes outside the bottom half, and just 1 of those gave you double-digit points. You were completely and utterly irrelevant in 75% of the events, and in the other 25%, you were only relevant for a third of it. Get good soon, because I don't want to have to go through this with you again. I'll explain White Flame's season with a handy comparison of their 2 halves. In the first half, they got 60 total points, 3 medals, 3rd in the league. In the second half, 21. Why? You completely threw away any chance you had. All marbles from 6th through 16th had lower medal counts than you, and yet you could only manage a 12th place finish. You keep spontaneously combusting under the weight of your own failures, and I'm beginning to think that it wasn't Season 3 that was the fluke, but perhaps Season 1. You have to turn things around, and quickly, or this will be next season too. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. With your last 2 performances, most people would have forgotten that you finished with an overall silver in Season 2, and for good bloody reason. You've come last in the qualifiers twice in a row. Are you trying to kill your chances of ever making it back into the KNC again? Because that really looks like what you're doing. You've been utter trash ever since Event 6 of Season 3, and I highly doubt that's going to change anytime soon. Oh, and you got lost in the consolation race. You are not just a clown, you are the entire circus. Welcome to the new marbles who do very well in the debut season, Club Pixie. Knight and Lapis will show you around. To be honest, at first I did not have high hopes for you. You managed to survive the qualifiers by winning slalom, and then immediately got lost in the same event when the main league started. After 4 events, you were sitting pretty in 13th place, where you apparently decided that being bad was lame and proceeded to not get another bottom half finish until lap racing. Disappointing that you couldn't get it done, but it's a tough competition, and bronze overall is nothing to scoff at. That also means that you're auto-qualified for Season 6. Just please don't end up like some other overall bronze medalists. I'm begging you here. And that concludes us for the Season 5 recap. Season 6 is going to be the biggest season yet, with another large expansion, and I hope to see you there. Goodbye. What am I doing? That's the wrong button.